David has become king of Judah, then all of Israel, and is influencing the whole region, because the Lord is with him, and he is establishing peace by a strong arm of law. Not that he is exploiting his neighbours, he is not seeking to overrun them, but he is subduing them, making them so that they're less agitated and less inclined to war themselves. He does this by seeking reconciliation with those who might otherwise be deemed enemies. And the big example of that is that he has brought Mephibosheth, who technically should have inherited the throne from his grandfather Saul and his father Jonathan. But he was crippled and people at the time overlooked him. But David has not overlooked him. David has brought him to sit at his table and reinstated all of the property of Saul under his authority, Ziba managing the affairs for Mephibosheth. And so the house of Saul is not eliminated, as David promised he would not wipe out Saul's name. He re-establishes it. It happened after this that the king of the people of Ammon died, and Hanun, his son, reigned in his place. Then David said, I will show kindness to Hanun, the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness to me. So David sent by the hand of his servants to comfort him concerning his father. And David's servants came into the land of the people of Ammon. And the princes of the people of Ammon said to Hanun, their lord, do you think that David really honours your father, because he has sent comforters to you? Has David not rather sent his servants to you to search the city, to spy it out, and to overthrow it? Therefore Hanun took David's servants, shaved off half their beards, cut off their garments in the middle at their buttocks, and sent them away. When they told David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, wait at Jericho until your beards have grown, and then return. Then the people of Ammon saw that they had made themselves repulsive to David. The people of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth-rehob and the Syrians of Zobah, 20,000 foot soldiers, and from the king of Maachah 1,000 men, and from Ish-tob 12,000 men. When David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the army of the mighty men. Then the people of Ammon came out and put themselves in battle array at the entrance of the gate. And the Syrians of Zobah, Beth-rehob, Ish-tob, and Maachah were by themselves in the field. When Joab saw that the battle line was against him, before and behind, he chose some of Israel's best and put them in battle array against the Syrians. And the rest of the people he put under the command of Abishai, his brother, that he might set them in battle array against the people of Ammon. Then he said, if the Syrians are too strong for me, then you shall help me. But if the people of Ammon are too strong for you, then I will come and help you. Be of good courage, and let us be strong for our people and for the cities of our God. And may the Lord do what is good in his sight. So Joab and the people who were with him drew near for the battle against the Syrians, and they fled before him. When the people of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fleeing, they also fled before Abishai and entered the city. So Joab returned from the people of Ammon and went to Jerusalem. When the Syrians saw they had been defeated by Israel, they gathered together. Then Hadadezer sent and brought out the Syrians who were beyond the river, and they came to Helam. And Shobach, the commander of Hadadezer's army, went before them. When it was told David, he gathered all Israel, crossed over the Jordan, and came to Helam. And the Syrians set themselves in battle array against David, and fought with him. Then the Syrians fled before Israel. And David killed 700 charioteers and 40,000 horsemen of the Syrians, and struck Shobach, the commander of their army, who died there. And when all the kings who were servants of Hadadezer saw that they were defeated by Israel, they made peace with Israel and served them. So the Syrians were afraid to help the people of Ammon any more. My name's Arthur. Thank you for joining me as we share together from 2 Samuel chapter 10. So, typical of David, he's a peacemaker. He had good relationships with the king of Ammon, and so when that king dies, he sends a delegation of peace to comfort the new king on the death of his father. But evil people are always suspicious and think that other people think like they think. Good people expect people to think good thoughts. Evil people think evil thoughts and expect other people are thinking evil thoughts. And so the princes of Ammon said, "Do you think David really honours your father? He's just spying out. He says now's an opportunity. With a change of regime, the Ammonites will be weaker. We can overthrow them." And of course, Hanun follows the advice of his princes and mocks David's overtures of peace, humiliating the ambassadors, cutting off half their beard, cutting off their robes at the buttocks, which offends the whole nation of Israel. When you attempt to do something peaceful and good to a person and it is rebutted and you are mocked for it, then it leaves a sour taste. And Hanun knew that he had upset David and the nation by the treatment of these ambassadors. He then has a choice. He can apologise, but no, he's not going to apologise. He recruits the Syrians. Again, misreading David, thinking David is going to attack him, but there's no hint that David was going to retaliate. He recruits the Syrian army, men from Beth-rehob and the Syrians of Zobah, 1,000 from the king of Makkah, and 12,000 from Ishtob, a large army, 33,000 soldiers at least, coming against David, supporting the Ammonites. So David sends Joab to deal with the matter. Joab finds that the Ammonites are on one side and the Syrians are on another side, and he's caught in the middle. So he divides his army, one part facing one way toward the city and the Ammonites, under Abishai his brother, and he leading the strongest team against the Syrians facing the other way. And his comment is, "Be of good courage and let us be strong for our people and for the cities of our God. And may the Lord do what is good in his sight." The battle is always the Lord's, but we must do what we can. And so that's what Joab was saying, and so they fought, and the Syrians fled. And when the Syrians fled, the Ammonites fled. And so Israel went back home victorious, and the Assyrians and the Ammonites were humiliated. But they didn't like that. And so the Syrians rounded up a larger army with chariots to confront Israel again. So while Israel was seeking to be at peace with its neighbours, yet its neighbours were not interested in peace. And what's changed? We find that same situation happening at the present time in the Middle East. People talking about peace, but not trusting one another and demanding that they have sovereignty. Well, David hears that the Assyrians have gathered together again. His policy is not to wait till the Assyrians come into his territory, and not to cower before them, but to go and confront when he hears that they have risen up against him. And there's horsemen and charioteers, but David defeats them again, so that the Syrians give up trying to support Ammon and negotiate terms of peace with Israel. This is another demonstration of how David subdues the nations with strength, not to rule over them and to exploit them, although some of them paid tribute to David for protection from others, so that there would be peace for the well-being of all the people of the region.